That's how you do it, basically. You know, and like I said, most of the sales came through bulk orders. You know, and see, and here's the thing. Here's the thing about a lot of book sales. Here's something that a lot of people don't say. Most offers that sell out, say Wall Street Journal or Amazon book best-selling list or whatever. Like I'm on Amazon best-selling list now, but most offers won't tell you that most of their book sales usually come from one order. That's right. They usually come from one order. What usually happens is a lot of offers, they speak. They do for corporate companies, right? And before they speak, the deal is somebody within that department has to make an order and buy the books for all the people in that department, which could be 1,000 people sometimes. Could be 2,000 people. And that one order is gonna have that offer become a bestseller. That's how most offers get book sales. And this is why a lot of offers won't, in a situation like that, they won't even. That's not a paid gig. In most cases, that's not a paid gig. The deal is, if that person in HR or whoever's in charge of the buying the orders, buying the books, that person, when that person orders the books, the offer will say, "Hey, I'll come and speak for an hour if you get a certain amount of copies." That's the deal that they're making. That's how most offers become bestsellers. And the rest of the offers usually struggle. They usually struggle. It ain't a lot of offers like me online with a following that people are willing to buy their books. It's not a lot of them that I know of. It ain't a lot. It's usually a handful. It ain't, and I'm not a celebrity. I don't have the biggest following in the world. But I'm okay. I do well. But most people online that are not celebrities, not public figures, they're not well known. They come out with a book, even if they get a book deal, they don't even sell 100 copies. They don't even sell 100 copies, and they struggle. That's just a reality. And I didn't know this. Until after I published my first book. It's unfortunate. It's kind of sad. But I guess at least they got the book deal, and hopefully they got some upfront money. Hopefully, because they're never gonna make no money from that book. If you sell in less than 100 copies, I mean, most of the average offer, most of their book sales come from family members. That's sad, but it's the truth. And knowing is half the battle, like they always say. So if you want to sell a lot of books and you're not well known and you're not a public figure, you have to do what I did. Have a mass social media blitz. And if you don't have a following yet, you're going to have to create one. The same way you have to do a mass social media blitz. You have to drop a lot of videos. Like when you first starting off, let's say, assume you have a channel. When you first starting a YouTube channel, you're going to have to drop 2-3 videos a day. Like I did when I first got started. Now, once you start getting some traction, yeah, you can slack off a little bit. But in the beginning, today especially, today is hard to break through. It's hard to break through today. Today, you might have to drop 3-4 videos today. It's because there's so many channels and there's too much noise online. When I first got started on my first channel, I just dropped. I think I used to drop 2-3 videos a week. Now you might have to do that in one day now, because it's just too much noise, and it's it's very difficult to break through. You know. But hey, this is what I did.